Hello, Toolboxers. This is parent coach Sharoya Ham. What is the number one thing you want to change about your parenting? I ask this question wherever I go. And do you know what the most common response is? I bet you can guess it. It's yelling. Parents want to stop yelling and fussing, but they normally tell me they want to stop because they know it's hurting their kids. But what so many parents don't realize is that they should stop because it's hurting them. It causes a great deal of stress. Also, just turns your good day into a bad one. Leaves you feeling guilty and shameful that you said the things that you said. So, today I want to share with you how you can stop. Most parents decide that they want to stop and they think if I just make a commitment to stop, I'll be able to stop. It doesn't work that way most of the time when we want to change our bad habits. What we have to first do is sit down and think, what is it that we want to do instead of yelling? So I'm asking you that question. What is it that you want to do instead of yelling and fussing? You might say, I want to pause for a minute, take a breath. I want to leave out the room and then come back in. Or you might say, I want to whisper instead of yelling, just go down. You put your voice down. Or you might say that you want to whisper instead of yelling, you get quiet. The first thing that you need to do is first decide. After you decide what it is you want to do instead of yelling, what you then need to ask yourself is, when do I yell the most? Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it when I come home from work? Because that is the place where you want to start. So take, for instance, you say, I do a lot of yelling when I come home from work. So perhaps you said, I want to replace yelling with whispering. So that means what you can do is when you come home from work, you make a commitment for the first hour to just whisper. Yes, your kids will think you are crazy, but it will allow you just to be calm and to set a tone in the house and watch their behavior. Just because your voice is not elevated, you'll see some changes in their behavior. So what I want to just challenge you to do today is write yourself a behavior change statement. It can go something like this. I am committed for the next 3 days. It can go something like this. I am committed for at least 3 out of 5 days this week to come home and to whisper. So after you ask yourself, let me see where I'm at. Ask yourself, when does my yelling occur the most? Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it when I come home from work? Whatever time frame that is, that's where you want to concentrate practicing your replacement behavior. So if you decided that you want to whisper, it is then just in that period you really want to concentrate. So let me make this clear. You've decided that you want to whisper instead of yell. You decided that the time you want to focus on is when you come home from work. And then what you need to do is write yourself a behavior change statement. It would go something like this. At least 3 out of 5 times this week, when I come home, whenever I feel like I'm going to yell, I'm going to whisper instead. By simply writing it out, it will help you be more accountable to yourself. Remember, by simply writing it out, you will be more accountable to yourself. By simply writing it out, you will be more accountable to yourself. Hi, Toolboxers. This is Parent Coach Sharoya Ham. What is the one thing you would like to change about your parenting? This is the question that I ask parents wherever I go. Do you know what the number one response is? You probably guessed it. It's yelling. Most parents tell me that they want to stop yelling because it's hurtful, it's harmful to their kids. But what they don't realize is just how hurtful and harmful it is to them. It stresses you out. It turns a good day into a bad one. And most of all, it adds a lot of guilt and shame in our parenting. We may say something that we really regret. And so today I want to talk to you about how you can stop this terrible habit. But I don't want you to feel bad because, as I said, so many other parents struggle with this issue. But what they do wrong is they think that they can just change by making a commitment to stop. As with most bad habits, it's very difficult just to have the discipline to just stop cold turkey. But what we must think about is, what do we want to do instead of yelling? Have you given that any thought? If not, that's the first question you want to answer today. What do you want to do instead of yelling? Do you want to just step back, take a few breaths? Do you just want to walk out the room and come back later? Do you want to whisper? Do the opposite of yelling. Then, after you ask yourself that question, I want you to think about, when do you yell the most? Is it in the morning, afternoon, or after work? Find that time. Pinpoint that time, because when we're talking about behavior change, we don't want to have to not yell the whole day. Just a small chunk. Just change that time where you yell the most and start from there. So let's just say it's at lunchtime when everybody's got their schedule going and no one's coming to the table after you prepare lunch. Here's what you can say to yourself. Every time I feel like yelling, I'm going to whisper. It's time for lunch, children. Please come to the table. They will think you're crazy, but they will also respond to you differently. So I just want you to just give it a try. Remember, you're going to first figure out what you want to do instead of yelling. Then you're going to think about what time frame you want to implement this new behavior change. Give it a try. And then if you see that that is working for you, I want you to write out a behavior change statement and make yourself accountable. Simply say something like this. For at least 3 out of 5 days, I am going to. I want you to write yourself an accountability statement. It can go something like this. At least 3 out of the next 5 days, I am going to whisper every time I have the urge to yell. And when I meet this goal, I'm going to treat myself to something special. Remember, you can create the home environment you want, one change at a time.